With 3 seasons of over 60 homers and over 600 career homers that is in the Hall of Fame, take a step forward. Not so fast, Sammy. It starts with 3 vintage packs. From those 3 packs, 43 cards emerge. I am tasked with building a solid lineup from these players. 8 position players, a DH, a starting pitcher, and a closer. But once the lineup is constructed, we learn something about each player. It's unpacking the past. Coming up next. And now, it's time to meet the players selected to represent your starting lineup. Leading off, in left field, from the Boston Red Sox, Ellis Burks. Batting second, in right field, from the Minnesota Twins, Mack. Batting third, the designated hitter, from the Milwaukee Brewers, Sheffield. Batting fourth, center field, from the Chicago Cubs, Sammy Sosa. Batting fifth, at first base, from the Cincinnati Reds, Hal Morris. Batting sixth, at third base, from the Chicago White Sox, Ventura. Batting seventh, a shortstop, from the Kansas City Royals, Frank White. Batting eighth, second base, from the Baltimore Orioles, Tim Hulett. And batting ninth, the catcher, from the San Francisco Giants, Steve Decker. Your starting pitcher, from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Orel Hershiser. And coming out of the pen, the closer, from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Tim Wakefield. The packs have been opened, and now it's time to meet the players featured on these cards and find out why these 11 men were chosen to take the field. Starting with our leadoff hitter and left fielder, Ellis Burks. Ellis had quite the unique career. He played 18 seasons in the bigs from 87 through 2004. He had 2 Silver Slugger Awards, 2 All-Star appearances. He won a Gold Glove, and he's a member of the 30-30 Club, which is 30 homers and 30 stolen bases. And that 30-30 season came in 1996, where after hitting his 40th home run, which was a career high, he became the first player since Hank Aaron to have a season with 40 home runs, 30 stolen bases, and 200 hits, a feat that only 3 players have achieved since. He either led the league or came in second in a half dozen offensive categories that season, as well as coming in second to Tony Gwynn in the batting race. His impressive season saw him finish third in the MVP voting that year, and his unique combination of speed and power slots him in nicely in our leadoff spot. Our right fielder, Mack, went to college at UCLA before being drafted 11th overall in 1984 by the Padres. Prior to starting his professional career, he would play on the U.S. Olympic baseball team in 1984, winning a silver medal. After a rough few years with the Padres, he was taken by the Twins in the Rule 5 draft and would play a major role in the team's World Series win of 1991 as the team's starting right fielder. He would play all 3 outfield positions in his time with the Twins, before going on to play in Japan after the 1994 player strike. He retired in 1998 with a lifetime batting average of .299 and a solid defensive average of .985. His ability to get on base and hammer left-handed pitching makes him a perfect fit for the 2 spot as a table setter before our big bats come to the plate. And here is one of those big bats, our designated hitter, Sheffield. Sheffield is arguably the fastest right-handed bat and most unique swings in baseball history with his famous bat wiggle, producing a rare combination of power and contact that allowed him to turn on any pitch regardless of speed or location. It didn't always look like that as Gary adapted and perfected his batting stance early in his career. He played for 8 different teams during his 22-year career, including winning a World Series in 1997 with the Marlins, then immediately being part of one of the biggest trades in MLB history the following year when he was traded along with 5 other players to the Dodgers for Mike Piazza and Todd Zeile. During those 22 years, he earned 9 All-Star appearances, 5 Silver Sluggers, a batting title, and in April of 2009, he hit his 500th home run while playing with the Mets, a number that used to guarantee baseball immortality and a first-class ticket to the Baseball Hall of Fame. But that would not be the case for Sheffield. His allegations and appearing in the U.S. government's Mitchell report as being a player who obtained and used steroids clouded his achievements in the eyes of the voters. Despite never producing a positive test, Sheffield is one of only 7 Hall of Fame eligible players to have hit 500 or more home runs to not be elected, as he failed to reach the 75% number required in his final year on the ballot. His lightning-quick bat and mix of power and contact earned Sheffield the role of DH and our number 3 spot in the lineup. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments if you feel Gary Sheffield was the right call for this selection. If you thought Sheffield was a controversial pick, here comes our center fielder, Sammy Sosa. Over 1,650 RBIs, over 2,400 hits, nearly 1,500 runs scored, 609 home runs. The only player in history with 3 seasons of over 60 home runs. These are instant Hall of Fame numbers. In fact, any player with 3 seasons of over 60 homers and over 600 career homers that is in the Hall of Fame, take a step forward. Not so fast, Sammy. Like Sheffield, Sosa is not in the Hall of Fame and never even approached the 75% voting threshold required in his 10 years on the ballot. How is that possible? Once again, suspicion of PED use makes an appearance. Sosa reportedly tested positive during an anonymous testing survey in 2003, and while never directly admitting to using, did apologize for mistakes he made during his playing career. Also in 2003, Sosa was caught using a corked bat during a game, claiming it was a mistake, and a batting practice bat. All bats belonging to Sosa that were tested by MLB all came back clean. This moment, coupled with the steroid allegations, tainted the view of Sosa and his accomplishments with voters and fans alike. And honestly, it's a shame that this is what Sosa's legacy has become. For those who were around to see him play in 1998, the magic he and Mark McGwire created that summer was something special. Not just the homers, but their relationship and how Sammy was embraced by the Cub fans and what he meant to that storied franchise. He still holds multiple team records to this day. Sammy's famous toe tap and power numbers gives him the nod for our cleanup spot. In the 5 spot is our first baseman, Hal Morris. While Hal certainly had pop in his bat and was capable of driving in runs via the home run, the thing he is most known for was a simple sacrifice fly. Hal came up in the top of the 9th in Game 4 of the 1990 World Series and hit a ball to right field, scoring what would be the game-winning run of the Reds' 4-game sweep of the defending World Series champion Oakland Athletics. He played 13 years in the bigs before retiring in the year 2000, where his final big league at-bat and hit, a single, would result in a walk-off win for the Tigers. His .304 career average and ability to find the gaps for extra base hits makes him a solid choice for the middle of this lineup. Third base and the 6th spot are held down by Robin Ventura. While Robin may be remembered for one particular moment with Nolan Ryan, he was far more than that. He played 16 years in the majors for 4 different teams. He played stellar defense, winning 6 Gold Gloves and 2 All-Star selections. He hit the longest single in MLB history when in Game 5 of the 1999 National League Championship Series, Ventura came up in the 15th inning with the score tied and the bases loaded and hit a walk-off grand slam to win the game. Except it wasn't. Ventura's teammates were so excited that they didn't even realize the ball had gone over the fence and celebrated with Robin right there in the infield, preventing him from rounding the bases and touching home plate. This moment would become known as the Grand Slam single. And while it may be his most famous Grand Slam, it was far from his first, as Robin hit 18 Grand Slams in his career, including being the only player in Major League history to hit a Grand Slam in both games of a doubleheader. While Robin failed to make it to the Baseball Hall of Fame, he was inducted into the College Baseball Hall of Fame, in 2006. His clutch bat and shutdown defense is more than enough to make him our starting third baseman. Our shortstop may look familiar to Royals fans, but as a second baseman, it's Frank White. Frank is generally considered one of the best second basemen of his era, winning 8 Gold Gloves between 1977 and 1987, and helping the Royals win the World Series in 1985. He was no slouch at the plate either, collecting over 2,000 hits in his career and winning a Silver Slugger in 1986. While not being elected to the Hall of Fame, he is a member of the Royals Hall of Fame. He is one of only 3 players to have their number retired and has a statue in the outfield of Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. While primarily a second baseman, White did play shortstop in the minors before converting to second base. When creating a lineup, you sometimes have to be creative, and Frank was the best option at both second base and shortstop. I chose to put his elite defense in the 6th position on the diamond. Our second baseman and number 8 hitter is Tim Hulett. Tim did not have an amazing career, but it was a fairly long one, as he played in the majors for 12 seasons before retiring and going into coaching. His best season was the one represented on this card, 1993 with the Orioles, where he played mostly at third. He split time between all 3 infield positions and occasionally DH. One note about Tim is a family tragedy helped create some good for big leaguers, as his son was tragically killed in 1992. Tim was forced to go on the 15-day disabled list to mourn his son, as there were no bereavement options afforded to players at this time. Tim's situation helped pave the way for both the bereavement and paternity list available for players today. With Frank White holding down shortstop, Tim gets the call at second. Our catcher and number 9 hitter is Steve Decker. Steve played for 5 teams over 7 years in the majors before retiring in 1999. He then went on to coach in the minors as a hitting coach and eventually a manager, before being called up to be an assistant hitting coach for the Giants in 2015. Steve makes our team as he was the only card we had that was capable of playing catcher. So welcome to the team, Steve. Our starting pitcher is the Bulldog, Orel Hershiser. Bulldog gets the start primarily because of what he did in the 1988 season. In Orel's final start of the regular season, he needed 10 scoreless innings to break Don Drysdale's MLB record of 58 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. The game went into the 10th scoreless, and Orel was still in the game. He got the final out, and as he walked off the mound, the first person to greet him was Don Drysdale, who was part of the Dodgers broadcast team. Then, the playoffs. In the NLCS, Orel started Game 1 and Game 3, and came in relief to get the save in Game 4, then topped that off with a complete game shutout in Game 7, clinching the NL pennant for the Dodgers. He started Game 2 of the World Series on full rest, threw a complete game shutout while earning 3 hits himself at the plate, including an RBI double to put the Dodgers up 2-0 in the series, and followed that up by throwing a complete Game 5 to win the World Series. All in all, Hershiser's 1988 earned him an All-Star appearance, a Gold Glove, the Cy Young Award, the NLCS MVP, and the World Series MVP. He is the only pitcher to earn all of these achievements in the same season. Orel went on to pitch in 2 more World Series for the Indians before retiring and becoming a pitching coach. He is currently part of the Dodgers television broadcast team. Orel has more than earned the nod to take the mound for this team. And our closer is knuckleball extraordinaire, the late, great Tim Wakefield. Tim started his baseball career as a first baseman, but after being told he didn't really have a shot of making the majors, he decided to pivot and learn to be a knuckleball pitcher, and it was a good pivot. He made his major league debut in 1992 for the Pirates, as this card represents his rookie season. After a few seasons struggling with control, he was released and signed with the Red Sox in 1995 and never looked back. He would bounce back and forth between the starting rotation and the bullpen, spending time as the team's closer before returning to the starting rotation full-time in 2003. While starting games 1 and 4 of the ALCS for the Red Sox, he would come in to pitch in relief in Game 7 as it went into extra innings. He pitched a scoreless 10th inning, then threw 1 pitch to Aaron Boone in the 11th that still hasn't landed. That pitch sent the Yankees to the World Series and ended the Red Sox season. They would bounce back the following year in 2004, finally breaking the team's 86-year curse and winning the World Series. They would win again in 2007, making Tim a 2-time champion. He would finish his career in 2011 with exactly 200 wins, over 2,150 strikeouts, and the honor of being the oldest player to play for the Red Sox at just under 45 years of age. He would go on to work as an analyst for the Red Sox broadcast after his retirement. Sadly, Tim succumbed to brain cancer in October of 2023. Tim Wakefield and his floating knuckleball is the perfect choice to close games for this team.